Hey guys, it's postboxpat. Welcome back to an overview of all the unique features in the brand new WarZone Call of Duty Battle Royale. Now if you're a Fortnite fan, PUBG, Apex Legends, this video is for you because it's not going to be talking about how good the game is, it's simply going to be explaining the unique features which could get added to any other Battle Royale. Obviously it's going to give you an insight to the Battle Royale itself, and it's going to be a truthful review because many YouTubers already out there have been sponsored and they are kind of misleading a lot of people towards this game. So, first most unique feature is actually when you're diving in, you can now use your weapon as you're diving, which is so unique. I think that's so cool. I've not seen that personally in any other Battle Royale. The next one is probably my favorite one and probably something which we'll see a lot of Battle Royales implement, maybe as an LTM or even as a permanent thing. And this is the Gulag. So this is a prison, actually from the actual Battle Royale map itself. And in the Call of Duty WarZone map, for those that don't already know, the whole map is inspired by the Modern Warfare franchise itself from the actual game. So campaign, multiplayer, Spec Ops, all that sort of stuff for those that are Call of Duty fans who wanted to know that. But this area at this prison is so unique because you actually have to 1v1 somebody to come back to life. That's right, once you've been eliminated, you have an option to 1v1 someone. You could obviously give up or leave the game if you wanted to, but you have that option to get that respawn. Now, at some point in the game, you're probably wondering, Pat, is this throughout the entire game? Well, no, it does get turned off at a random point in the game, and there is a timer for that on your top left-hand screen, and it'll tell you when the prison/gulag is actually closed. So I love it. It's so unique. You can see me here doing a 1v1. It has a little cutscene and stuff, and it's just such a cool, unique feature that many Battle Royales, including Fortnite, Apex, all of them, will probably get some sort of idea from this and maybe implement it into their game in a different way. So kind of a cool feature that is maybe worth trying out. The Battle Royale actually comes with 150 players, which was actually rumored to be 200 at one point. Now, this is the negative point which I have for you guys, is with this 1v1 system and 150 players, you can get to endgame circles of up to 30 to 40 players, and it can almost feel like a free-for-all rather than a Battle Royale, which I think is a very negative point to put towards the game. It's not one I wanted to put in here, but it is one you will notice if you play the game. You'll notice that towards the end of the game, sometimes, not every game, circles will become a very big free-for-all, which is almost like a pro game. It's not really what you want in a Battle Royale every single time. We also have, when diving in, we have a few different things that's quite unique. Their actual names of the point of interest are written on the ground. I think that's so cool and something which we would all love to see in many different Battle Royales. Very unique and pretty cool to know where you're actually landing. I love it so much. Next up we have Cash. This is a whole unique system added into a brand new Battle Royale, which is quite cool and something which many of us would not expect, to be honest. This is a system where you can actually earn cash to unlock different things. We have armor, we have shielded turrets that you can buy, we also have other items which all give the player an additional thing. For example, even kill streaks. That's the cluster strike, which drops in 3 missiles. There's obviously as well the precision airstrike, a gas mask. These are all useful features which are quite handy. The gas mask allows you to actually stay out in the storm for a little bit of time without taking damage. However, the gas or storm does tons of damage in this. We've obviously got the precision airstrike. This is just a standard airstrike where you call in from kind of like a highlight marker type thing with like a huge laser pen, which is pretty cool. UAV, obviously that lets you know where players are nearby. We've obviously got the self-revive kit where you can revive yourself. An ammo box is also available as well if you decide to run low on ammunition. This can come in handy if you're up high in a building or just at any stage in the game. And the final one is the loadout drop marker, which we'll get into in a second because this explains exactly how the game is completely different, because you can actually use your classes from multiplayer with perks inside of the Battle Royale itself, which is quite cool. There's obviously a purchase redeployment as well on the right hand side, which you can see over there. I can't purchase them right now because my players are alive on my team, but if they weren't alive on my team and they didn't survive in the prison in that 1v1 situation, you can reboot them by spending $4,500 of in-game cash. No, it's not real money, just for those wondering if you think it's actual real money. It's the money you collect in-game. So, let me explain a little bit more about the loadout system, because I think that is quite a unique feature as well itself, and it's something which a lot of people don't really realize that it's in the game, and there are some tips and tricks I'll give with that, some advantages and disadvantages about that system. So first off, you have to actually gain the system. Simply to do that, you head over to a shop and buy it from there, like I'm doing in this gameplay. It is the very bottom one, just to make sure, and it does cost a total of 6,000 dollars or in-game cash. So it's quite a lot to purchase, and it can affect the entire game. Now, the advantages of this box is it gives you perks as well as your chosen customized classes. Now, it does come in from the air and does leave a lot of smoke, and also can appear for nearby players, so do be careful with that. But you can see you've got a total of 10 different loadouts. I've personally created 2 unique loadouts for Battle Royale, and if you don't have any loadouts created, you can use some of the default ones, which are pretty useful as well. You can see you get a variety of different perks, a variety of different weapons, and all these weapons are maxed out with 5 attachments, which almost gives you guaranteed legendary weapons. That's why they're glowing gold, because it's a legendary item technically if you'd pick it up from a chest. So it's quite cool. You can also do something which I do, which is kind of a cheat, but it's not. Basically, you simply find one of these, call in a double weapon with overkill on, which gives you 2 weapons, and then find another one so you can call in another thing to remove that overkill perk, keep your weapons, because when you open one of these crates it just drops it down, and then obviously once you've got both weapons you can get an extra perk. It's kind of complicated, but basically the Call of Duty players will know what I'm trying to say there. So what is bad about this? Well, the disadvantages to it actually are that a lot of people will just be focusing cash. They won't be looting. This Battle Royales are meant for looting stuff, looting crates, going around, getting loot, and doing stuff like that. Now, this one is more focused on cash. I feel like the whole system seems to be focused on that. They have an actual separate game mode, which is based around cash, which is just an awful game mode. We'll get into that in a sec. That's called Plunder. We'll talk about that in a minute. But this game mode itself, being the actual Battle Royale, being aimed around cash, it doesn't feel right, because once you've called in this, you're basically set for the entire game. There also are missions in the game which actually focus down players. So for example, you can get a mission where you could be being hunted, or you could get a mission to hunt someone, and that actually reveals a rough estimate location of where they are on the map, which again kind of defeats the object of a Battle Royale, because you're now being rushed by 3 players to get a bunch of cash. It's very different from a normal Battle Royale, but it's unique and it's clever using the cash system. However, it's not the best, obviously, because you can get pretty kitted out quickly, and it almost becomes a pretty crazy free-for-all. Now, Plunder, that is a new unique game mode added into the Call of Duty series, which itself is very similar to Oddball from Halo, where you got to collect as many balls as possible to win, and it's not exactly the same as that, but it kind of is. Whoever's holding the most balls wins. I think that's how Oddball worked. I'm not too sure 100% if I can remember that exactly. Some sort of skull collecting one from Halo was similar to this anyway. The idea of it is you collect the most cash and you win. The cash goal being 1 million. Yet, I have actually, to complete that goal, I have been in the game 4 times on Plunder. Enjoyed the first one. The other 3, I realised that no one was hitting the goal of 1 million cash, and it wasn't really telling us who was winning, because at the end it told me that I won even though I didn't have the most cash. So the game mode itself isn't the best. Plunder is cool, but I would not recommend wasting too much time on it. It's not like the Battle Royale. It needs a lot of tweaking. There's not enough players on it now, and it is kind of annoying in that sense. Now, the advantages of this game is it is cross-platform. You can play with PlayStation players and PC players, and the disadvantages, you can be queuing a long time because the lobbies are 150. So these little things, they're only small little things I'm mentioning, but these are the sort of things which you should take into consideration when playing this Battle Royale. I have enjoyed a few games on it, but I don't personally think it will last the long term. If people do seem to enjoy my content on this game, you can expect more of it on the channel if you would like to see it, and if it does well, I will continue to pursue the content if people would like to see that sort of stuff. But as always, my love is for the Fortnite community, so that's my main focus. However, I do like to vary my content to stuff that I personally am enjoying, so that's why I decided to make this video. A little bit off topic, but let's get back to this in a little bit more detail. So, we obviously know you can actually now earn XP from this as well. So it does affect your multiplayer rank. So if you have a multiplayer rank and you play on the multiplayer, you can get eliminations and actually rack up a bunch of XP. You can also get XP in the starting lobby. So when you drop in, when the game's loading in, you can just keep eliminating people in that section and also gain XP from that. I think that's quite a unique feature as well. Fortnite haven't seemed to have done anything like that. I'm not too sure about the other Battle Royales, but I like the idea of being able to eliminate people in the spawn island or the spawn zone, it's not really a spawn island, the spawn zone, to gain XP, even though they just respawn. And if you're one of the first people into the game, queuing up to get in, it's quite a good way to rank up a bit of XP and train and practice before you actually pop in to the Battle Royale scenario. So, it's cool, it's interesting, and the final little point I've got for you guys is the end of the game. So at the end of the game, we actually get a rolling credits, which I absolutely love. You can see every single player that had played in this Battle Royale that you've played in, and it shows you a rolling credit of their in-game name, which is awesome. You can sit to the end if you want to. You don't have to stick right to the very last moment. You can obviously leave the game and you will gain access to that credit scene. Talking of leaving games, that's another disadvantage of this Battle Royale. With this respawn system, I've seen several creators and myself do it, where people just can't stick around because you've lost your 1v1, your team is still alive, but they don't have enough cash to revive you. Do you want to sit there for 10 minutes? Probably not. Unless it's your friends, you're not going to sit there for 10 minutes and wait to be revived, and they could get eliminated. And that's a common issue with the game. If you're playing Phil on it, and because it's only 3 people, or trios technically, you can't get solo or duo. You can, you don't have to Phil, but there is no actual official game mode. You'll be coming against team of 3s, and unfortunately, that does happen. So you can see in the gameplay that I've been running throughout this video, it was actually a solo game of me doing pretty well. I actually come second in it, and you can see that from the credits scene, which was crazy. But yeah, that's my opinion on the game. So far, I am enjoying it. Will it eliminate other Battle Royales? No, it's just going to stick on the side. It is free, which I haven't mentioned in this. I'm sure many of you probably already know that it's free. If you didn't know this is a free game, wow. But yes, download it if you would like to try it. It's up to you. Would I recommend playing it long term? Probably not. Would I recommend playing a few games on it? Yeah, it's definitely worth a few goes and a few games for like a week or so. I personally don't think it'll last though. That's my personal opinion right now. That could change. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I hope you have found this useful. If you are new to the channel, do consider smashing that subscribe if you're into Fortnite content or just in general Battle Royale content. That's what we cover on the channel, but mainly Fortnite related. But if there is anything else I do enjoy, expect it on the channel. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Go and check out some videos on screen if you are into Fortnite, and I'll see you guys over there. Once again, this is postboxpat, signing out.